So crypto custody, crypto custodians, it's a weird thing because you'll find thousands of them out there, but all but maybe three do what they purport to do. And the concept of custody, right, comes from the securities and futures world, and in particular, the Investment Advisors Act of 1940, right? And that requires investment advisors to use a qualified custodian. And that qualified custodian is typically a bank, registered trust company, broker-dealer, futures merchant, or some type of state-sanctioned trust or custodian, right? And there's very few out there that actually can offer their services or do offer their services to crypto platforms, crypto advisors, right? And first, the rule applies to investment advisors only. So if you're exempt from investment advisor registration, which I've spoke about here before, right, which generally speaking, amongst other exemptions, is having assets of under 150 million or less, you don't have that same rule or obligation to use a qualified custodian. You can engage in self-custody, which you sort of bear the risk of that, right, as it relates to the safeguarding of your client's assets. But it raises two interesting questions. One, if you are in fact an investment advisor and you have to adhere to the custody rule, where do you go, right? And there's very few options out there. But more importantly, the unanswered question is, as a crypto exchange, right? Like a Coinbase, Kraken, you name it, easily have assets under management, albeit not actively managed, in the realm of 150 million and up. So the custody rule would seemingly apply because, again, a crypto exchange is nothing but a state level money transmitter, right? So the question becomes, what service are they actually providing? Are they acting as an investment advisor? And part of that part of the answer to that question inures to what's being traded, right? Bitcoin, we know, is a commodity. So are they acting as a commodities trading advisor, to which the custody rule would also apply, right? And you'd have to find a futures broker. If they're handling security tokens, are they then an investment advisor? Arguably they are. But few exchanges are, at least in the United States, are utilizing qualified custodians for their operations, right? Everything's held at the exchange level. Now, Coinbase and BitGo and some other have sought to purchase broker-dealer licenses and go in that direction, become qualified custodians themselves, which is the right thing to do. But you've got 24 odd U.S. exchanges, and you just don't see this happening. So the question is, are they, outside of the myriad of questions, right? Are they acting as a national securities exchange, which we've discussed before, and all that? Are they acting as investment advisors, but not following the custody rule, and then obviously not also registering as an investment advisor? So it's an interesting concept, and it's a huge hole in the market, right? There's a huge hole in the market because there's just simply not enough qualified custodians to handle what arguably with volume. And as you see, hedge funds, crypto-backed hedge funds, hedge funds increase in value, and more larger players getting into the market, the need for this custody becomes essential because they're going to surpass 150, or they're going to be registered investment advisors to begin with. So it's an interesting conundrum, and it's an unsolved and unmet need in the marketplace to a large extent. And there's some like Prime Trust and others are very good and qualified to do it, but on a grander scale, to take the market to the next level as a legitimate financial services sector, right? That's what you're lacking. And you have, again, this uncertainty that falls back onto the legitimacy of crypto exchanges as to whether or not they should be using qualified custodians for what they're doing. And conceivably, if you did, maybe you don't have, these large scale hacks, right? Maybe these don't occur. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Who knows? It's all about the custodian and to what extent the custodian is safeguarding assets. But the question that's left unanswered, and I think needs to be answered by arguably the SEC and the CFTC, is the legal status of these exchanges, right? And to what extent they do or do not need to follow the custody rule amongst other rules, because right now they're just a creature of very banal, very easy, lightly regulated state law, with perhaps the exception of the BIT license in New York. So that's my take for the day. If you have any questions regarding custody or need a referral to a good custody company, feel free to hit me up, Adam at adamtracy, tracy.io. Happy to always answer any questions that you have. Cheers.